Today, I want to continue our conversation with Old Testament and move right into the book of Joshua. Now, the book of Joshua may have been written by Joshua or may have been written by Samuel. We really don't know. Well, about 300 to 400 years difference between whether it was written by Joshua or if it was written by Samuel. If it was written by Samuel, then it was written many years after the fact. If it was written by Joshua, then it was closer at that time. Because it seems kind of more factual than storytelling to me, or maybe that's just the way I took it as I read it, I'm kind of leaning to this was written by Samuel three to 400 years later. It's hard for me to separate the book of Joshua from the later books of Moses because, we get into the end of Numbers where we see Moses choosing Joshua to be his successor or the next leader of the people. When we get more later into other books of the New Testament, the books of Samuel and the books of Kings, we kind of see the leadership of the people, and we kind of start with Moses as the leader of the Israelites. We do have our patriarchs that come before Moses, but we kind of look at the first real leader of this particular group or sect of people as Moses. When we get further to that, I have a real neat chart that's it's framed and hanging in my hallway that goes through all of the leaders of the people of Israel breaking apart into the kings. And I don't think I can scan that and put that in here, but I might take a picture with me and it's in the background and show you where you can get that. I also have over in this corner a huge timeline that's like 2 foot by 3 foot that's framed and hanging called the Biblical Family Tree. It's right there, that chart right there. There are a couple of things in Joshua that strikes me as a little cuckoo or weird, or one of the things that people even today blame on God that's not of God. The people had wandered around in the desert so long and they'd been captive so long that they had stopped performing circumcision, cutting off the foreskin of the penises of their baby boys at, I don't know, what is it, the third day or seventh day or whatever it is that their religion made them do. I do know the story of Abraham and Isaac and God telling him that they needed to cut off their foreskins to prove they are God's people. I don't get that. Seems barbaric to me. I know when my babies were being born, the anti-circumcision groups of people existed and they were real, and people would say, oh, it doesn't hurt the baby, but they would have a microphone on while a baby is being circumcised. I promise you they felt that. Just look for videos of them doing that. So anyway, so the people had wandered around, and all of the men were not circumcised. So Joshua gathers all the men together and said, hey, God's angry with us because we haven't done this. So we're going to have a mass circumcision and cut off everybody's foreskin. And well, I guess they did that because now we got to read about it in the book of Joshua. Sounds barbaric to me. I'm not a fan of their traditions that in the United States where that is still done to more than half, I would say nearly all of the babies. a little bit less now than what it was in earlier times. But anyway, so that's kind of creepy. It's kind of creepy that the Bible, something I consider the religious texts or foundations for my faith and my belief, that I have to read about junk like that. But anyway, it's a history of the people. That's what they did. Do I believe that God told Abraham to cut off their extra penis skin? No, I don't think so. If that was important to God, and if God created all that we are and everything, then it wouldn't be there. And if it's there, then it serves a purpose, maybe. So anyway, I didn't want to make this podcast about circumcision, but if you read Joshua and you're really having a conversation or thinking about everything you read, you're going to have to think about circumcision and the penis skin. Yeah, I think I better stop. Okay, so what else do you think of when you go through the book of Joshua? Let's see what else is going on in Joshua. At least when I spent more time studying Joshua, what did I write about? Well, we don't know who wrote it. If Joshua wrote it, it was in 1380 BCE. If Samuel wrote it, it was about 1050 BCE. So that's a difference of 330 years. Okay. So if you're following along in my devotional book that goes through the entire Bible, deep and wide, the book of Joshua is the reading text for February 9th through the 14th. Well, look at that. The very first devotional I wrote was on circumcision. And I don't even want to read what I wrote about that at this point. Some of you might. It writes about when the people were capturing and slaughtering the other people so they could take their land as they moved through. Some of the people, they stole things from the people and put them with their own stuff instead of putting them with the church stuff, and then lied and said they didn't. They went through, in Joshua, we talked about all the kings of the lands that they conquered. They went through and said, God told us to take control of this land and to kill these people. God didn't do that. There's no way God told one group of people, you can have that land, go kill those people and take it. No, God did not do that. And I don't care that in the Bible says God said they did it. No, what we read in the Bible is the person writing it, in this case, either Joshua or Samuel, they're writing that they believe that God told them to do that, and they told their people that God told them to do that, but God didn't tell them to do that. So either the person at the very top who said that God did that, either they lied to the people because they could get people to do stuff if they told them God told them to do it. Sounds like American politics. Lie and tell people that this is what we got to do when it's the wrong thing to do. So it's like, yeah, and so the people came in and they lived in cities that they didn't build, and they ate from vineyards and olive groves that they did not plant. They took someone else's stuff. Oh, I really like Joshua 24:15. We used to have a wall hanging that had this hanging over the hallway table inside the foyer of my home. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And it comes from that. It's like, at one point, I guess, people are complaining, yeah, we don't really want to do all this stuff. Well, if my preacher told me I had to follow these 613 or however many there were laws and rules that they said God gave them, that God didn't give them, it's like people would say, I want to do this. And then, well, choose you this day who you want to serve. Do you want to follow God? Then come on. And if you don't, then go on. And it's like, you got to choose what you're going to do and what you're going to believe and who you're going to follow. Are you going to follow, and for us living today, are we going to follow the life lessons and ministry and examples of the man Jesus who taught and showed us what to do? Or are we going to follow our political leaders who tell us what they said God wants us to do, which to me sounds a whole lot like Moses and Joshua and some of these other people, you know. They're telling people God said something to do it because they want the people to do it. But you have to choose what you're going to do. Are you going to choose to follow your politicians? Are you going to choose to follow the Christ in the word Christian? You can't call yourself a Christian and then not really follow truly what God calls us to do, which is to love God, love others, change the world. So Joshua moves us a little further into the New Testament. I'm not sure as we continue to go through these Wednesday podcasts on books of the Bible that we will get so in-depth into politics or comparing truth from not truth or just looking at history. For me, the Old Testament is only helpful in looking at a recording, looking at a historical recording of what the people that were writing this story and the people that these stories are about thought and believed. I don't have problem identifying that they were wrong in what they believed. I don't have problem saying that, oh, their leader said God told them to do this. No way, God didn't tell them to do that. I don't have a problem saying that. The Old Testament is useful for me because it shows me what these people a long, long time ago thought and believed and what they in turn taught the generations that followed them, which laid the foundation for why the life, lessons, ministry, and model of Jesus was needed, because these people got it wrong. It's not about rules in proving that you love God because you followed these 613 or however many there were rules and laws. No. It's about loving others, helping others, being kind to others. That's what being Jesus to other people is. If you engage in this conversation and are looking forward to more podcasts on all of the books of the Bible, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. That way you will know when they're posted. I am posting these podcasts, originally the Bible ones, every Wednesday. I'm going to do 67 of these podcasts in this year. There are 52 weeks in the year. Retro, how are we going to finish up in December? So while there will be a Bible podcast coming out every Wednesday of every week, a few weeks we'll have a Friday. Thank you for watching and sharing and liking and subscribing.